What's up, all you amazing Guardians? Profane here. Thanks for checking out the video. Destiny's newest dungeon, the Warlord's Ruin, released earlier this week, and after devoting several hours and most of the weekend towards mastering this dungeon, I have to say that this is by far the best dungeon that Bungie has ever put together. Between the beautiful aesthetics, the rewards, and the mechanics of its puzzles and encounters, this was a meticulously designed dungeon that was both challenging and immensely fun, and should stand as a testament to the ingenuity and creativity of the developers at Bungie. With that said, the new dungeon features one of the most interesting exotic weapons, a Scorn-themed crossbow that's been fused into a sidearm and called the Buried Bloodline. So today I'll be going over everything you need to do to get this exotic sidearm and its catalyst, which is definitely a must-have. Buried Bloodline is a one-of-a-kind 100 RPM void sidearm. It comes with the Hungering Quarrel intrinsic trait. This weapon shoots out tracking bolts that leech health from targets, providing you with an instant surge of health regeneration, which looks to be around 20 points per target. Buried Bloodline also comes with violent reanimation, so getting multi-kills with this sidearm grants Devour. While Devour is active, each final blow grants you grenade energy based on the combatant's tier level, ranging between 7% and 20%, and each final blow is going to restore 100 points of health. Once it's been activated, Devour will get extended after each final blow. This gives you the ability to trigger Devour when on non-void subclasses, which can give you a really big advantage when it comes to survivability and grenade spamming. Once you've obtained its catalyst and have completed its objectives, this weapon will weaken targets on each hit whenever you have Devour active. This is a 15% weakening debuff that will last 8 seconds. I don't see this exotic breaking its way into the meta of Destiny's current sandbox, but when you have a weapon that grants you health recovery, grenade energy, and weakens targets, it's worth keeping, and in my opinion, definitely worth using. So with that said, let's talk about how to get the Buried Bloodline and its catalyst. Before you journey into the Warlord's Ruin, you'll need to stop by the Bazaar and speak to Ikora. You'll get a multi-step, account-wide quest called In the Shadow of the Mountain. This quest will require you to complete each encounter of the new dungeon, but additionally, you'll have to discover all of the hidden Ahamkara bones. Completing this quest will reward you with the Bloodline Catalyst and a Masterwork class-specific exotic. The exotic itself will have a chance at dropping from the final boss, but without completing any of the associated triumphs, you'll have around a 1% chance of getting it to drop. With 3 characters, you would typically have 3 chances each week to get a dungeon exotic, but I have seen many players already obtain the exotic well beyond their 3 set chances, so just bear that in mind if you don't get it on the first completion. Along with having to discover all the Ahamkara bones, you'll also have to collect Dark Ether Tinctures and Blighted Wishing Glass, and you're going to need a lot of them, which means that you're going to have to repeat this dungeon at least a few times over. These items are obtained by completing the encounters of the dungeon, communing with the Ahamkara bones, which you're able to do even after collecting the bones themselves, and you're also able to get them by defeating the treasure goblin screeps that randomly spawn in at different sections of the dungeon as you're transitioning through the jumping puzzles. Completing the dungeon on Master Mode does provide more tinctures and more glass, but it does come with increased difficulty. One method that many Guardians have started to use in order to cut down the time that it takes to collect these wish glasses and tinctures is to farm the opening boss encounter and to farm the opening entrance area where one of the first treasure screeps has a chance of spawning in as you're going across the wooden bridge. When it comes to discovering all of the Ahamkara bones, these are hidden behind locked doors scattered across the dungeon that can only be opened once you've collected enough wishing glass. There are level 1 doors, level 2, and level 3. If you don't have enough credits to open one of these doors, you are able to join someone who already has completed them and get them to open the door for you. And with that said, let's go ahead and run through where you can locate each of these Ahamkara bones.
It's like the Ahamkara here was feeding off the taken, preying on their desire to fulfill a...
Stopped
So once you've gathered all the bones, obtained enough tinctures and wishing glass, your quest step will change and require you to return the bones of Hefnd back to its rightful place within the Blighted Keep. This is done by interacting with Toland just before you reach the final encounter. After engaging with Toland, you'll be teleported into a new room, an Ahamkara death chamber. After interacting with the Ahamkara skull, your quest will be completed, and if you have already obtained the buried bloodline, then you will now be able to complete the 3 puzzles associated to its catalyst, which also means you're going to have to start the dungeon over. The first puzzle is located in the prison chamber after the first boss. After you've unlocked the prison doors, you'll find a small taken blight chilling behind a gate in between the first and second prison cells. Next to the blight, you'll notice there are 4 torches representing the 4 prison cells. When you shoot the blight, taken totems will spawn in each of the rooms, and 3 of the torches will light up. These torches are oriented just like the prison cells, so if you're looking directly at the torches, cells 2 and 3 are going to be on the left, with 1 to your right, and 4 is in the back left. Just like the totems during the boss encounters, you'll need to step into these to dispel the taken energy. It takes 6 seconds to do this, and you'll have 25 seconds in total to get all 3 totems. If you get the orientation wrong, you will be able to try again, but if you get it right, you'll get flavor text at the bottom left that says the buried bloodline clicks audibly. Once you've gotten the flavor text, you can proceed to the next encounter of the dungeon. The next catalyst puzzle will be found before the second encounter, on the snow-covered bridge. Clear out all the enemies first so they don't create a distraction, and then turn around to spot the next blight. After shooting the blight, you'll notice 4 taken totems appear across the snow-covered ledges. If you look up against the wall, you'll see 4 torches, with 3 of them lit. These are positioned in a straight line, with the totems oriented in the same way, with the first torch being the first totem that's closest to the bridge, and the 4th torch being the totem that's furthest from the bridge. Just as before, once you've activated the proper totems, you'll get the same flavor text on the bottom left of your screen, indicating this puzzle is completed and you can move on to the next encounter. And now we move on to the final torch puzzle. This one is located after the big blight room and just before the final boss. You'll find the torches positioned around the door frame here on this snowy peak, where the final room for the Ahamkara bones are. The totems that correspond to these torches are spread out around this enclosed area, with the first and second totems positioned to the left side on the 2 snowy peaks, with the 3rd totem sitting on the floating rock next to the blight, and the 4th totem up against the far right wall. Once you've gotten the flavor text prompted, the puzzles are done with, but now there is one final hidden boss that you must defeat in order to get the Bloodline's catalyst. You'll need to continue onwards towards the final encounter, but before you get there, interact with Toland one more time. This teleports you back into the Ahamkara chambers, where a taken primeval wizard will now spawn in. The mechanics of this boss fight mimic that of the totems puzzles. Above the Ahamkara skull, you'll see 6 torches, 3 to the left and 3 to the right. During the encounter, 6 totems will spawn in the room, 3 to the left, 3 to the right. When this happens, 3 torches will light up, so you'll need to activate the corresponding totems so you can damage the boss. Just like the other totems, it takes 6 seconds to activate these, and you'll have to do it before the Imminent Wish countdown is up. Once you've secured the totems, and the Imminent Wish countdown hits 0, the boss will teleport to the center of the room, and her shield will go down, allowing you to start damage phase. If you're not able to down the boss on the first damage phase, you'll just have to rinse and repeat the process to get to the second damage phase. Once the boss has been defeated, a chest will appear next to the Ahamkara bones. Loot the chest and get your motherfucking catalyst. Once you've gotten the catalyst, you'll need to defeat 600 enemies with the buried bloodline to unlock its benefits. This weapon does fire special ammo, so that can be kind of a problem in most locations. But to get these quickly, I would recommend hitting up the Shurochi encounter, which is in the Last Wish raid, and I would recommend using a hunter with Orpheus rigs and Deadfall tether. The entrance of Grasp of Avarice would also make a good option, but without a rally flag, you'll probably run out of ammo pretty quickly. And with that said, we've now covered everything that you need to know about obtaining the buried bloodline, collecting Dark Ether Tinctures, Blighted Wishing Glass, Ahamkara Bones, and how to defeat the hidden boss within the Warlord's Ruin, and complete the quest for the buried bloodline's catalyst. I can't speak highly enough about how fun and refreshing this dungeon has been. It has a few bugs here and there, but that's to be expected. Overall, this has been a monumental addition to Destiny 2, and it gives Bungie the opportunity to build and grow off of this dungeon's successes. So if you haven't had the opportunity yet to hit up Bungie's best dungeon yet, the Warlord's Ruin, and unlock all of its hidden treasures, then now is certainly the time. I am still putting together a more thorough and complete walkthrough of the entire dungeon, and the best way to complete each of its boss encounters, so be sure to stay tuned to the channel for that and all the latest Destiny 2 news. If you have any further issues, or if you've got any extra tips and tricks for your fellow Guardians, be sure to let us know down in the comments below, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about the buried Bloodline, this new dungeon, and everything else going on in Season of the Wish. Let me know down below. Thank you as always for checking out the video. If you enjoyed and found it helpful, then be sure to hit that like button below, along with the subscribe button if you're new. Both are greatly appreciated, and both really do help support the channel. If you're a new Light Guardian, just starting your journey, or a battle-hardened veteran, just looking for a new home, then be sure to check out the Discord link in the description below and join one of the greatest communities in all of Destiny. And until next time, Guardians, this has been Profane, wishing you all some happy hunting.